All right, so we're live over on YouTube. How much I'm bouncing the camera around. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm making this more complicated than it has to be. All right, and we're live over. Oh, look at that. Holy moly, that might be perfect. All right, so see if I can straighten this out without completely screwing it up. I try to fix it and I make it worse a lot of times. So I'm gonna try not to do that. Let's see how this one now. Hi, Sandy. So hard to get one going without the other because they're kind of attached. All right. So I guess that's good. All right. All right. So happy Saturday, you guys. I hope you're feeling strong today because that's kind of my my direction. And if you saw the Facebook posts or the Facebook post, I guess there was more than one, right? There were it was this pretty intense plank pose, right? And we aren't doing that. But as always, with this theme that I've got going on, we're working in the direction that would take you to that goal if that were your goal. So I did a workshop with one of my favorite instructors a very long time ago, and she had us pick a pose that after the workshop we wanted to be able to do. And I picked this toe balance, and it's really cool looking, but it doesn't mean anything, right? And she essentially told me that. Only, I kind of got my feelings hurt. I'm like, I picked a crappy pose, right? But her bigger point was that these big, beautiful poses, and I've said this for the last few weeks, don't mean anything. You don't like level up in yoga if you can do these crazy poses. So if you can be present at any point, right? That's the goal, right? And even if it's for like half a little second, right? Just be completely focused on what you're doing. And those intense poses, a lot of times, take that focus because otherwise you're falling out, right? So it's good to have those goals, but in the end, it doesn't mean anything, right? So it means your body's a little stronger, maybe, or whatever, or you've been practicing at it longer or something, but who cares? Right? That doesn't matter. So that's kind of where we're going today. I've just got a quick announcement. Remember, next week we are not here on the live. We'll be doing the virtual summer retreat. So I haven't exactly decided if that's going to be on Zoom or maybe Google Hangout. It's going to depend on who's showing up and what access we have. Whatever's easiest is the way I like to go. Clearly. So if you are interested, make sure you let me know. Paid members on the website to get that virtual retreat for free. There is a one-time fee for it if you're interested in just taking the retreat. It's 3 hours long, and we'll get some good yoga in there, and we'll chat a little bit too. Unfortunately, I can't, offer the beach and some amazing lunch or something like that, but we'll get there eventually. So yeah, check that out. If you are a paid member, you'll get a specific email on it with some links and things like that. So we're all together on the same page with that. All right. So I think we're good. Everybody good? Any questions? Anybody? I know YouTube. I don't know why I even look over there because you can't exactly type on your TV. So although you might not be on your TV, but you get the idea. So let's come on over to the mat. And engaging the belly is going to be vital. So of course we always want to do that, right? We always want to have the belly engaged to protect the lower back and just to make ourselves stronger and help with our posture and things like that matter every day. But definitely today is going to be very important to have that engaged. Otherwise, everything else is going to be a lot more difficult. So let's start with the heels aligned to the groin here as much as you can. Make sure you're upright on the pelvis, right? So that's where it begins. That's where the engagement of the belly begins. So again, checking in that we're upright. Lift the pelvic floor, pull the lower belly in and up, and then sit tall through the sides here. Try to relax your hips and your shoulders as much as you can, extending tall through the crown of your head. And then go ahead and close your eyes. And just take a moment to become present and focused on where you are and what you're doing, even though it doesn't seem like much. And remember, that is the goal, to just simply be present. So whether we're sitting here or whether we're in that crazy arm balance. Staying focused and centered. And of course, we have to add breathing into that, right? So noticing your normal breath for a moment or two. And then breathing all through the nose, begin to expand, letting your upper belly rise and fall as you draw that air deeper into the lungs. Finding this full, just beyond comfortable, smooth, even breath. And if being present and centered is goal number one, having this yoga breath is goal number two. So let's see if we can continue to add on here, keeping those two goals. Let's extend the arms out to the sides. With your next inhale, stretch the arms toward the ceiling. And then we'll exhale to bring them back down again. We'll do that again. One more time like that. Let's come back to the top. Inhale. Exhaling the right hand back to the mat. Give yourself a little tip over to that side. So keep the pelvis level. Belly's working. Take a big breath. And then with the next inhale, bring yourself back to center. And we're going to switch, taking it over to the left. Inhaling, make your way back to center. And then exhale, the right hand in. See if you can go a little bit deeper into the stretch. Big breath again. And then back up to the top, inhaling. Taking it over to the left one last time here. And then back to center, inhale. Exhaling, release the arms. And then taking the left hand over to the right knee, right hand behind the back a bit, gentle little twist over toward the right. Same idea, keeping your pelvis rooted, the belly engaged, the spine really tall. We'll release that, coming back to center, take the second side, same idea. And then releasing back to the middle again. Take that first side, let's go a little deeper with this one. So really use the right arm, pressing into the floor to help us sit taller. Pulling against the knee, rotate the belly button around. Turning your side ribs toward the back of your mat, drawing the shoulder back and maybe looking over your shoulder. So feel as if you're rotating around without leaning or shifting. Just rotating around on the axis of your spine. So releasing that, we'll come back through the center and over to the second side. So winding up from the bottom to the top, just as even as you can. And let's release that back to the middle again. From here, coming around onto hands and knees. Placing the wrists underneath the shoulders, let your fingers spread nice and wide. We are working these plank positions quite a bit today, so remember the four corners of your hands. And you can always cushion, but you don't want to go too crazy, right? You don't want to make the bottom too soft, but if your hands hurt the whole time, that's just not even fun either. So you have to find that middle place for your hands, if it's an issue. So with the inhale, take the belly toward the floor. On the exhale, round your spine toward the ceiling. And connected to the breath here, we're going to flow in and out like that. Working as evenly as you can up and down the spine.
Let's take one more flow in and out. And then find a middle.
So making sure again that the belly is pulled in here. The shoulders are neutral on the spine, right? From here, take the right leg straight up. So we want the heel in line with the hip. It's easy to kind of kick it up a little bit here, but see how level you can keep your hips. Pressing through that heel, feeling the leg work, then from there, stretching the left arm forward. And so now in your head, if you were just on your left toes, right, you'd be in that pose from the picture, right? Kind of. So let's release the hand and knee back to the mat and switch sides. Left leg and right arm. So feeling how much the core works, it's not just about this poor little left arm, right? We're going to release that side. And then go back to the first side, we're going to add on then. So right leg and left arm extending away. We're going to work with the breath. On an exhale, pull your elbow and knee together underneath the body. Give a squeeze. Inhale, extend away from the body again. And then exhale the arm over to the left and the leg around to the right. Inhale back to that center. Exhale, squeeze in. Extend away. And then take it out to the sides. So let's do just a couple more like that. Smooth and controlled with your breath. One more flow here. When you're back to center, just releasing the hand and knee back to the mat again. And then we'll move to the second side. So extend the left leg and the right arm. Take your time, and when you're ready, begin. Exhaling the elbow and knee together. Inhaling as you extend away. Take it out to the sides and then back to the middle. So flowing. One more time. When you're back to center, releasing, hand and knee to the mat. And then just nice and easy, go ahead and sit back into a child's pose. Give yourself a little rest after that. Stretching the arms out long, rounding the four corners of the hands again. Let's make our way into our first down dog. And just allow yourself to move and stretch a little bit here. Just like before, remembering the four corners of the hands. Make sure they stay happy. And then allow yourself to begin to kind of settle in here. So pressing the chest back, strong through the arms, sinking the heels toward the floor, get that nice stretch in the back of the legs. And then from here, lift the right leg. Same idea as when we were on hands and knees, keeping the hips level, extend through the heels. And then bend the knee and open the knee out to the right. So we're trying to still keep the hips pretty level. We're just rotating from the hip joint there. You can absolutely leave that knee bent, or you can take the leg straight for a second and just test that out. Make sure your belly's working, keeping everything else as it is as much as possible. So then bend the knee again. This time squeeze it into your chest, and we're gonna step forward into a lunge. So toes to fingers here, let's go ahead and drop the back knee to begin. Take the right leg straight. And just find a nice little stretch here. Shoulders back, belly in. Big full breaths, present, right? Check, check, check. So then bend back into the knee and let the hips come low. Extend out the crown of your head, find space through your spine. And you can absolutely leave the back knee on the floor if you'd like. Otherwise, let's lift it away from the mat, taking this a little bit deeper. Right leg straight again here when you're ready. So you can prop, absolutely. Taking blocks. Keep the shoulders back so we're not just rounding over the leg. One more big breath. And then bend back into the knee, sink into the hips. Sweeping the legs toward each other so again they stay nice and stable on the hips. Let's go ahead and climb up on the thigh here. Lifting the chest, keeping the back leg straight unless the knee needs to be on the floor. Press through the heel, hang on with the hands here if you'd like. You can extend, lifting toward the ceiling if you prefer. Maybe looking up unless that's too much. Make sure your belly's doing at least part of the work. And then let's release that back down again. From here, we're going to slide this right foot back and up into our three-legged dog. And then release the toes. And we're going to switch sides. So start by simply lifting the left leg. Again, everything else stays exactly as it is in this center here.
Extend through your heels, get that nice stretch. And then begin by just simply bending your knee and taking the knee out to the left. If you want to make it harder or more challenging, maybe I should say, take that left leg straight. Bending at the knee again if you did. Bring it into the chest and we'll step forward into a lunge again. So the right knee dropping to the floor and the left leg straight. Of course, modify if you need. Whatever you're going to do here. Bend back into the knee. Releasing into the hips, extending out to the crown of your head. And then taking that leg straight again, whether the right knee is on the floor or up away from the mat. Feeling the intensity of the stretch where you need it to be, more or less. And then once again here, go ahead and bend into the knee. Sweeping the legs toward each other, keeping that right leg straight unless the knee's on the mat. Climb on up. Lifting the upper body. Holding here, extending the arms. Modifying in one way or another. And then releasing back into the lunge again. Let's slide that left foot back and up for our three-legged dog. And then release the left foot. So let's work planks here. And remember, you can absolutely drop down to the knees, but we're going to be pretty mobile, maybe is the word I want. So with an inhale, shift forward, come into your plank. And then with the exhale, make your way back to down dog. Right, so we're not really holding, but if you need to be on your knees, take the knees. So simply working with the breath, shifting forward and back. Let's go once more like that, forward and back again. And then go ahead and drop on down and take a little break. So remember to listen to what your body needs from you. And again, if it needs to be a little more, a little less intense, making the adjustments. So let's lift back to that down dog. And you can absolutely work where we just have been. Otherwise, we're going to add on a little bit. So lifting the right leg. Hips stay square, belly stays in. With an inhale, shift forward, come to this three-legged plank. And then shift back again. So forward and back like that, taking a few more flows. Smooth and controlled. And even here, you can be down on the left knee if you need. Once more, forward and back. And then releasing the right foot to the floor. Let's switch sides. So lift the left leg. Same idea on this side. Coming forward as you inhale. And back on the exhale. One more time. And then releasing that foot to the floor. And once again here, go ahead and step back in your child's pose. So the nice thing about working hard is that there's lots of opportunities to rest. Take as many as you need. So let's make our way back to down dog. And then here we'll walk the feet up to the hands, kind of standing fold. So feet are hip bone distance apart. Make sure your toes point forward, just like with the hands being very aware of the four corners of your feet. Let's slide the hands up to the thighs. Press away, coming parallel-ish to the floor. And then make sure the belly's working. Shoulders are back, leaning with the hands on the thighs as much as you need to avoid sitting back or bending into your knees. Okay? So feel your belly working. Hang on if you need. And we're going to bend into the knees intentionally here and sit back into the chair. So, four corners of the feet, nice and even into the floor. Tucking the tailbone if you feel like your bum's sticking out back there. Hang on here, center, extend. And then with an inhale, we're coming all the way up, stretching to the ceiling. And then releasing the arms. All right. So let's go ahead and take a nice big step back with the right foot. We're going to straddle on the mat. And instead of having your feet parallel to each other, go ahead and turn the toes out to the corners just a little bit here. Bending into the knees, make sure your knees track in line with your toes. A lot of times they'll sink in. Right? You want to make sure that they're in alignment. So four corners of the feet here, legs are straight again. We're going to extend the arms out so the body's kind of like an X. And then here, connected to the breath, on the exhale, bend into your elbows and knees. And then inhale, come on back up again. So in and out, just like that. Super simple. Try to change nothing else. Just elbows and knees. Make sure the belly's in. Keeping the pelvis in place. Let's go once more like that. And then we're going to come down into the squat and hold. So again, you're just kind of checking in, making sure that the body is aligned where you need it to be aligned, right? You can hold here. You can extend the arms out to the sides, stretching through the fingertips. And if you prefer to stay upright, absolutely do. Otherwise, hinge forward, bringing the shoulders, head, more in line with the knees and hips-ish. Take a great big breath. And then hinge back up. Stretch to the ceiling. And release it all. Let's go ahead and step back to the top of the mat. All right, so inhale, stretch the arms up. We're going to exhale and take it over into a fold. And then step ourselves back into down dog again. So we're going to work some more planks here, only we're going to go to side plank. So shift forward, come into a full plank here, plain old plank. Make sure your hands and feet are far enough apart, the body's fully extended here. Right? Once you have that, shift your hips back up again for down dog. And then bring the right foot roughly halfway to the hands. Turn those toes out to the right so that foot can be flat to the floor. We're gonna roll to the outside edge of the left foot and bring the right hand either to the hip or up toward the ceiling. So we want the body to be aligned here. If you find that your bottom is sagging, pull it up. If maybe you didn't step far enough forward, you might have your hips too high. So just finding where this right foot needs to be is usually the trick. Sometimes it's the left foot. Belly's in. We're gonna take one more breath. And then let's release that, come back to down dog. All right, so switching sides then, same idea, check in, take that full plank for just a second here. Again, that back foot is important as to where it is. Then lifting the hips, stepping the left foot, again, roughly halfway. In line with your hips is really what the story is there. And then bringing the left hand to the hip. The outside edge of your right foot is on the floor, right? Take another nice big breath. And then let's release that back to our down. So we'll play with that again some more in a second. For now, step the left foot all the way to the hands, coming to lunge. And then drop the back heel. We're gonna make our way into warrior two. So take that right hand, sweep it forward, up and back. And then check in. If your feet aren't exactly where you need for them to be, take a peek, make the adjustments. You can see just your left big toe here, right? And then from here, take the left leg straight. Reach forward over the toes as far as you can, and then let your left hand fall and your right hand lift. So you can be leaning with the arm against the leg or the shin or a block maybe here. If you need to be leaning, right? Lean only as much as you have to. Make sure your shoulders don't fall forward of your hips, that your back is doing all the work, right? So head, shoulders, hips, and ankles in the same plane. And then if you're not really leaning, let this left arm just sort of dangle down. And if that's really boring, make sure your belly's pulled in and extend your left arm forward. Adding in a little bit. And if that's not fancy enough, you can bring your right arm forward and add some more body weight. You decide, modify if you need to modify. Open the arms back up and rotate back into our lunge here. Step it back, down dog. All right, so side B, bringing the right foot forward. Dropping the back heel. Taking that left hand, sweeping up and back, warrior two on this side. Just kind of check in with your feet. And for the most part, your feet in warrior two and triangle are the same, but if you need adjustments, take adjustments, just like anywhere else. So let's transition, taking the right leg straight, reaching forward, and then hinging. Leaning if you need to lean, block, prop, whatever you gotta do here. Shoulders are back in line with the hips and the ankles. And then maybe you add a little bit more body weight. Or a little bit more body weight, right now extending forward. Or a lot more with the left arm coming over the ear. Make sure your belly's working and you're breathing. And then open it up again. Rotate back to your lunge. And step back to down dog. So let's go ahead and walk the feet forward, come to standing fold. Or step or hop or whatever makes you happier. So from here, we're going to start with the hands staying on the floor. Let's see about then shifting the weight over into the left foot and lifting the right leg. So we're going for parallel to the floor with the hips level, just like we did earlier. Press through the heel, make that leg straight and strong. Ideally, the left leg is straight. You can bend a little bit to touch the floor or use a block if you need to use a block. Stay low with the hands down or maybe one hand up to the left thigh. I like to start at the thigh. Maybe the other hand can come up too, because then you can press away and lift your upper body parallel to the floor as well. Using the leg. And then not using the leg anymore. Flying the arms back, out, maybe they're coming center, extending forward, whatever. Balancing, belly, present. You're breathing. Take one more breath. And then release it over into fold again. So let's go to the second side. All the way to the right. Lift the left leg back. Press through the heel, make that leg straight and strong. Again, ideally level to the floor. Maybe yes, maybe no. So one hand up, maybe two. Lifting the upper body parallel to the floor as well. Find your neutral spine, make sure your belly is in. Leaning as much as you need to lean, or not. And then releasing whatever you have back into the fold again. Let's go ahead and step back to down dog. And then drop on down, take a child's pose. Give yourself a little break.
Transitioning back. How is everybody? Oh, Marissa. Hi, guys. So, back into our planking. Come into your down dog again. And then let's shift forward, come into plank. Let's go ahead and start at the knees here. So find the middle, right? Find that nice neutral spine. The shoulders are level on the back, the belly is pulled in, hands, four corners of the hands even on the mat, right? Change nothing else but bending your elbows tight to your sides, coming roughly halfway. So elbows in line with the outsides of the ribs. Nothing else changed, right? Or did it? Push back up. Sit back to child's pose. So let's do that again. Shift forward, kneeling plank. Find that middle place. Find that strong, aligned center. And then just bend into the elbows. Keep the chest open, the shoulders back, your belly's in, you're breathing, you're squeezing in with your arms. Press back up and sit back again. So that idea is crucial to that crazy pose, but it also helps when you come all the way down to the belly, right? If you keep your body in that alignment, when you bend your elbows, everything roughly, of course, some things stick out a little more than others, but everything hits the floor together. Right? If we start bending at the waist or dropping at the shoulders or whatever it is, that's when things go kind of haywire. So let's come back into our kneeling plank. Find neutral. Right? If you don't start in neutral, it's not going to come down neutral. Right? Elbows bend tight to the sides. Stop halfway. Are you still that straight line? Then if you continue to bend, everything comes to the floor together. And usually, when you're there, the hands are next to the side ribs rather than underneath the shoulders. So that can be a little tell as well. Right? So hands next to the sides of the ribs
We're gonna hug the elbows in. We haven't done any sun salutes here, so let's get a little one here. Roll your shoulders up by your ears together on your back and down toward your hip bones. Squeeze the waist here with your arms. And then release that back down. So down or up is harder than down, right? Press into your knees just enough. Imagine lifting your belly away from the floor, but you really don't want to lift it off the mat, right? You don't want your butt sticking up. You still want to be in that straight line. So pressing down into the knees, pulling the belly toward the spine will give you the lift. We're going to keep those elbows in. Spine is neutral. Press yourself halfway up, everything off the floor together. And then all the way up and sitting back into that child's pose again. So we're going to do that one more time. We're going to move a little bit quicker. And if you prefer to be on your knees, you stay on your knees. If you want to be off your knees, of course, hopefully, if you wanted to be off your knees, you were already doing that, ideally. So let's come forward, either kneeling or full plank. Bend your elbows tight to the sides, hover in the middle for just a second, and then come on down, everything together as controlled as you can. Roll your shoulders, you can add a little polar press, opening up into cobra, and then releasing that. Press into the knees, barely lift the belly, everything up and back. Let's take it down dog. So we're gonna work with those side planks again. Shifting forward, come into your plank again, just to kind of make sure that your hands and feet are where they need to be, because again, that's the beginning. Lifting the hips back to down dog. Let's step the right foot again at roughly halfway place. Toes turn out, the roll to the outside of the left foot. And then the right hand to the hip, you can lift it if that makes you happy. But the idea is to be this straight line from the head to the back heel. Left hand is happy, shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked, belly's working. How much are you leaning into this right foot, right? If it's a lot, lean less. And if it's not very much, without yanking your whole body around, see if you can lift your right foot off the floor, even if it's for a second. Step back, down dog. And then we'll do the same thing on the second side. So left foot halfway up. Let the toes turn out, roll to the outside of your right foot. The body is aligned. The more you lean forward, the less likely it is that we're going to get this left foot up off the floor, right? So lean back a little bit, alignment. And then maybe it's just leaning less into the left foot. Maybe you can pick it up for half a second. Making your way back to down dog. And let's drop into a child's pose. We've got one more variation on that theme, right? So remember, you can work any of that. Any of the just holding a regular plank, maybe coming forward and back with one foot up off the floor, maybe just taking those little dips, high planks, whatever you feel like you need to work on, you can be working on. You're not distracting anyone around you, right? So you can do what you need here. So if you're gonna add on to what we've been doing, we're gonna come back into down dog. Take that little quick shift forward into your plank. And then lifting the hips, keeping the length of the body as we step the right foot halfway up, toes turn out. That left ankle is firm, try not to roll over on it, belly's in. So you're leaning less, or you're picking it up for half a second. Stay in control as much as you can. Take and lift the right foot, step up. So shift forward if you feel like your hands and feet moved for sure. Left foot halfway up, roll to the outside of the right. Get yourself centered first here. Make sure the belly's working like crazy, and then maybe the left foot lifts and steps back and forward and back and forward. Do that one more time, whatever you're working, of course. Once you're forward again, make your way back to down dog. And drop on back into your child's pose again. So here, absolutely go ahead and take your hands back by your heels and let your shoulders rest forward a little bit. If it doesn't feel good, of course, don't worry about it, but it does help release your shoulders a bit. And then we'll sit up on the heels here. Let's bring the legs around the front. So inner thigh rotation, of course, so we're up, so that we are upright on the pelvis again. Belly's working, we're tall through the spine. Let's reach the arms and then fold forward over the legs. Keeping the spine long here. With an inhale, we'll come back up again. And then exhale, release the arms. So let's bring the soles of the feet together. Hanging onto your ankles. Pull the heels in, sit really tall here. Shoulders down and back, chest is open and lifted. And then lean back just enough to balance. From here, keeping your feet away from the floor, release your ankles and bring your knees to squeeze together. And then open your knees and squeeze the soles of your feet together. And you can hang on and support a little bit here if you need. Pull in, squeeze. And then open and squeeze the feet. Do that one more time. And then hanging onto your ankles again here. Go ahead and C-curve your spine and roll on down to the back. Keeping the soles of the feet together, let's unpin to the floor. Resting the knees out to the sides. Giving your belly a break for a moment here. And as much as all of those planks are about your upper body and your shoulders, hopefully you felt your lower or your middle and as well, not your lower body so much, but definitely your lower belly. And we're going to work to strengthen that just a little bit more. So let's bring the knees together. And then we're going to bring the knees over the hips with the shins parallel to the floor. So roughly a 90-degree bend in the knee. Hands are where you want them to be. So whatever feels most stable. Make sure your lower belly is engaged. Connected to the breath here. On an exhale, take your right heel toward the floor, maybe just touch. And then inhale and come back up to the middle again. So second side, same idea, left foot. And back to center. So side to side. Smooth and controlled with the breath. Keeping the bend in the knee to protect the lower back. Let's go one more time, right and left. And then hug it into center. So we're really targeting that lower belly. Again, you'll probably feel your back, you might feel your upper belly as well, but really we want the main goal to be working that lower belly. We're gonna do that same idea with the legs again. We're gonna add in the arms. So let's start bringing the knees over the hips, shins parallel to the floor, and the arms here are gonna extend towards the ceiling, right? If it's too much, you just bring them back down and work the lower body. So working across the body here, as the right heel moves toward the floor, the left thumb is coming to the floor overhead. And then we're gonna come back to center, inhale, and switch. Left heel and right thumb. And back to center. Smooth and controlled. Let's do once more on each side. Make sure you're even, right and left. And when you're back to the center, just hug the knees back into the middle. Rock a little bit here. And then one last little bit to help strengthen your core, and then we'll be done with it, I promise. Taking the arms out to the sides. I like palms down here, because I use my upper body, and I probably shouldn't, but I do. So legs are extended straight up toward the ceiling. Heels in line with the hips, right? Legs stay together and they stay straight as much as you possibly can. Again, try not to let your legs drift away from your body. Like you don't want to overwork the lower back. So start to move side to side. Take the legs over to the right until you feel like you're going to lose control. And then you bring them back up to the top again and take them over to the left. So lower belly is working like crazy. And it doesn't matter how far you go. Feeling the work, knowing when you've kind of reached the point of no return. The next time your legs over to the right, go as far as you can go, but then go ahead and release the legs to the floor. And at that point, the legs can stay straight or bend a little bit. Your legs may stay together or a little less than that. Right? Let's take another breath here. Absolutely bend if you need to bend first. We're coming back to the middle. And then taking it to the second side. So dropping those legs to the left and then letting them fall. Whether they stay straight or stay together over there, don't worry about that too much at this point. We'll take another nice big breath. Straight or bent legs, bringing it back up to the middle. And then bending the knees and hugging them in. Rocking a little here. Squeeze the knees in nice and tight and bring your forehead towards your knees. And then release that into a full body stretch. Get really long. Use every muscle. And then release that. Let your arms come down by your sides and make yourself comfortable. So prop if you need to prop, certainly. Maybe feet flat to the floor instead of extended to your lower back, happier. Just find where your body can be really comfortable. You're always welcome to take a seated meditation position. Maybe even sitting at a wall to help support the body. Whatever it is so that you can be super comfortable. And then this is the hard part, right? When the body is doing stuff, it's easy to stay focused. Now that the body has nothing to do, the mind might wander. So maybe watching your breath as a way to keep the mind present. Maybe it's being just observant of how the backside feels against the floor. Using whatever little tricks you need to keep the mind present. Just allow yourself a few minutes to rest. Slowly draw in a deep, cleansing breath. And then let that go. Allow your body to begin to wiggle, move, and stretch. Keeping your eyes closed in your mind. Slowly and gently make your way back up to a seated position. Sitting well. Bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks for playing today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're feeling strong, or maybe you're a little tired. But every day is a practice, and it's an opportunity to work on the thing that really matters. Okay? So enjoy your weekend. Remember to check out the website, anydayyoga.com, if you haven't already. Leave me your email, and I will stay in touch with you that way. No live yoga here next week. Remember, we've got the virtual retreat coming up, so if you're interested in that, definitely check it out and give me your information so I can fill you in on the details. The details are on the website, so if you do go there, you'll be able to find them. All right, so have a great weekend, and I will see you in 2 weeks if I don't see you somewhere. Bye. Bye, guys. Now we're there.